because it's ready to go.
Sausage, baked beans. It wasn't too,
Well, there's something else. There was a dessert.
oh, yeah, dessert, you got coleslaw, it was baked bean sausage. Instead of the gravy with it. Yep, that's you.
Got here a little early. That. Let's see, got here a little early.
One of the, we could take the.
Girls,
No,
big old mansion and stepped out on the driveway.
Oh,
It wasn't slush. I should have known better on the north side of the house. It was ice. Slid, fell, hit my back, hit my knees, hit my head on my back, running board of the Jeep.
when did you do that?
Huh?
When did you do that?
Yesterday delivered packages.
Oh, my God.
I had a few choice words. I should have probably not let it slip, you know.
That's all right.
It hurt.
But you're sore today.
She was in the garage. Dude, I couldn't get it told me twice. Dang
I just don't understand
How they look.
how.
it. Yikes. Can't be hurt.
Yeah, I did put one in there.
Did you check the bloodline?
Last year.
Chris, did you check the bloodline?
Check what?
The bloodline?
Bloodline.
Boy, you two ought to get out more.
Sixteen to 29, half.
Oh.
That varsity or JV?
JV. Reese wanted to whip up on his old teammates. Reese said he had a good half, but they threw the ball like too much.
You're always under.
I tell you, I've sat in a lot since our basketball's been done. I sat in on a couple of practices and they've really been working hard. But come a long way.
You like a young kid.
You
got all young sophomores,
I know that
freshmen.
some of my juniors, yeah, this one here.
Just because.
No, this one is. Okay.
And I mean,
Okay, well, that's why, yeah, that's why I assumed this was a batting cage.
Yeah,
But
so
it's,
do we need to
so it's
go,
going next, so.
so do we need to go 70 foot? I have to do 30 by 60, because that's, is that 60 feet deep enough for a batting cage?
Again, not for high school, it's not. 70 feet is,
So we could have one at 32 by 7 or something.
yeah, 70 feet is, like I said, the mound is from the plate. The mound is 60 feet, 66 inches, but.
Don't have to read it. Hey, we'll vote on it. All we need to look at them.
We can't prove that we paid them.
I mean, how much more could she could we can just divide it down by square foot.
Just they not go over
Yeah,
such amount, yeah,
yeah. All right, we can do that. Hi, Chelsea.
yeah. Yeah, if it's the same amount in square foot all the way through, it should be a good year.
At this point, I don't.
Okay, so.
So yes, I mean, they're, it's like 14.
I'm gonna call him real quick and
That's-
ask him.
we have to have-
$5 a square
that's the
foot.
portal that
I'm gonna ask him if that would
they
be
do their own
close to,
building.
okay, if we don't, you know, if we don't.
I didn't know what that was either.
What'd you say, 5?
It wasn't very much a year for that.
The top one was $5.
$14 a month or.
Oh, no.
The other ones may take
It was
more than that,
ridiculous.
your joint controls or something.
But
No,
they're
it
getting
shouldn't.
some ridiculously basic.
Yeah, it's $5. They're all coming up $5 a square foot.
Yeah, so 30 times 7.
Because they're the same thickness, yeah, they're all 4 inch wide, but yeah.
One before.
Well, I must get these.
It all comes out $5 a square foot.
Switch her on.
Yeah. But these are those old ones that I'm looking for.
Jules, how are you?
So where are they? Yes, they're in here, yes. So if we put theirs, we go.
Other than the bottom,
Could you imagine trying to do that in our bill?
I didn't, I thought I hung up, so I had to erase it.
other than the bottom dock number, because it has those piers in it.
Yeah, it's thicker.
Well,
Oh, no,
it's not thicker,
It's not
but it
thicker.
has those
Rings and
four,
stuff.
four piers in it.
It's, they put chemicals outside, and then it's raising the land. So that's in our agenda to have a forest. So Rick, you need to be careful when you come across this forest.
It's like walking on ice, you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'll just grab my.
I didn't do good. I got out.
So I got it.
Went down.
You pray when I get up. and do the- Chris, do you have like agenda, or other agendas for the table?
No, but I need to.
Right out.
Okay, thank you.
I can't believe how thick this is. That's very. What is it?
Yeah, isn't that great?
We used to use that for potato candy.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
It was a must, like, explosive stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I had great hair in the early 90s and so it was really powerful for that.
Serious. Serious. About sliding? Yeah. Did you have a lot of regret?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw it on the floor as I walked.
Yeah, I
in.
saw
You can see it on
that.
the floor.
It scared me. And we're live already, so if you go down, I'll just tell you.
I actually started reading that. I think
Thank you.
not about
Oh,
half of
yeah.
it through.
You did? Okay. I don't know.
So Joe, you see that really close on that? It took me a while to notice it was, really long.
Yeah.
I asked the person, where it was around, and they said, "Really not."
Yep, I took them to their goal. No, the same ones, yeah. Yeah, for me is, now whether or not it's going, because it's like, it's, like a couple miles south of the brewery on 55, and it's, you could literally look out that apartment building and see it. So I ran into her at the angle over there, I guess it was Sunday, and I went a couple blocks over the, so I was like, it was like, the porch was slow.
Yeah, of course they were.
And then I got back and some lady came to my car, because I was parked in there, in the apartment's parking lot. And it wasn't the best. And, one of the ladies was like, what are you here for? And I was like, I'm just dropping something off, I'm waiting for
What
her.
are you wearing?
And she goes, okay, we had some problems with people. This is how it's still, it's a tow truck was there. We went cars away, and I was like, oh boy. You know how she is supposed to take her 20 minutes and went pump gas after for half an hour after I pumped gas. It was 45 minutes. So I don't know, I haven't.
I'll be right back.
It'll be in the back. Ones that are already done.
Then I can actually get to
We're at 7 o'clock.
so.
I'm start the meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Chapman.
Present.
Alderperson Brown. Present. Alderperson Rucker.
Present.
Alderperson Gerb.
Present.
Alderperson Householder. Present. Alderperson Menard.
Present.
Alderperson West. Present. Treasurer Webb.
And Rick Virginia will be here shortly. Stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing for prayer. Lord, help this council to find wisdom and shed light on our thoughts. Give us strength to concentrate, to think objectively, and to think clearly. Help us, Lord, to avoid vanity and pride, and thus be able to make worthy decisions as true servants of yours. Amen. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
I'll make a motion, additions or corrections to accept.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the regular monthly meeting minutes. Roll call.
Rucker.
Yes.
Gerb.
Yes.
Householder. Yes. West. Yes. Brown. Yes. Menard.
Yes.
Executive session minutes next.
Make a motion for the executive session minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the executive session minutes for January 12, 2022. Roll call.
Rucker.
Yes.
Gerb.
Yes.
Householder. Yes. West. Yes. Brown. Yes. Menard.
Yes.
And the Public Works Committee meeting on January 20th, 2022.
Make a motion to accept public work minutes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the Public Works Committee meeting minutes of January 20th, 2022. Roll call.
Rucker.
Yes.
Gerb.
Yes.
Householder. Yes. West. Brown. Yes. Menard.
Yes.
Board report. All of our bills, including payroll.
We can go ahead and approve them as long as we just hold that one check until he provides an invoice. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the board report as presented. Roll call.
Menard.
Yes.
Householder. Yes. West. Yes. Gerb.
Yes.
Rucker.
Yes.
Brown? Yes.
Water users, depositors, refund report.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the water users, depositors, refund report. Roll call.
Gurr?
Yep.
Householder?
Yes.
West? Yes. Menard?
Yes.
Rucker?
Yes.
Brown? Yes.
Treasurer's report. How's everything looking, Lisa?
Yeah, it's good. Those of you that are not aware, the one is the Illinois funds. So that's as of current, what is still out there in the Illinois funds that we can transfer over. And then I did email this afternoon an updated bank statement to everybody with all the balances. I meant to have it in this and I was too late. So, that is out there in your email.
I received it, thank you.
Yep, that's everything.
I'll make a motion to approve the city treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Roll call.
Brown? Yes. Rucker?
Yes.
Gurr?
Yes.
Householder?
Yes.
Menard?
Yes.
West? Yes.
The old business, May Meisner Whitaker Memorial Park update.
The park update is, everything's on schedule, actually, everything's in front of schedule. All the, everything but the wire has been ran for the electrical part. They're waiting to, they have the building in place, the first building in place before they run wire, so the wire stays there. And the water lines are almost all ran, the sewer line will be completed hopefully this week still. The drain tile out front should be completed this week. And the building, the first bathroom is completed and it's gonna be ready to deliver after Friday. However, we either have to wait for the ground to refreeze so they can bring it in, or we have to wait for it to firm back up. So you guys can pray for whatever kind of weather you want, but one or the other. And that's it. Going really well.
Next is the Schulte Supply water meter installation update.
Right now, there are 5 of the smaller meters that are put around, and probably all going to have to be returned. Also, there are 19 larger meters, which we are not in possession of. We've got a list of them here, and I think they before. So the larger 2 and 3 inch, and we have 1.5 inches.
So it's an additional $40,000 if we round up with the oaks.
Right, these are for all of our commercial meters, for some of the larger water users in town. This was never included on our original Schulte bid. This was,
Why was it left off? Was it just an oversight or was it, they
well,
weren't planning on doing it this time?
at the time, we didn't, I don't know all the answers to that, but at the time, we just took a quote on the bulk of the meters.
So
Can we get
If we-
find what we got, this later, 39,000, we only got like 4 or 5 inch of read, it's already $40,000. Nothing to replace.
well, just for those 4, Glenn, it's only $13,736.
That's yeah, it's the bigger,
The 3-inch loop, is that right?
Yes.
And then the 2-inch are where? Because there's 14 of those.
There are 19.
Where do the 2-inch go? Is that residence or?
Well, the
commercial?
19 is the installation, if you look at it,
19
there's.
is total installation.
I'm
on
talking
one
about
end
the quantity
the
of 14.
Oh,
I'm talking the quantity of the 14 2-inch. Are those residential or commercial?
Like Jordan Farms has 2 inch meters,
Okay.
so it's larger usage.
So if we spend this additional, are we done buying meters and the system will work for everything everywhere?
Yes, these 19 are the
I personally think we just need to spend the money and finish it and be complete and be able to read them all the same way and fill them all the same way.
With the install, do you think you could do that? Do you think you and your guys could do the install of those few meters?
I thought if they installed them, they were the ones that turned over all the codes and everything correctly. Or is that not that big a deal on 7?
Well, that is true, but
Or
since
19?
there's so few of them here,
that would be possible. Like I said, change it to that's here. The grade school, high school, farm, along that.
7,000 compared to what there's that's installing the rest of them really isn't.
board's decision, what you guys want to do?
You guys have any comments?
I think,
Glenn?
You've done all the other ones, right? We might as well let them finish it
I just feel like there might be a
Done.
warranty with that.
out. Yeah. I think so too.
I'll make a motion to spend $39,159 to complete to the all of the new water meters. So everywhere in the city will have them, correct?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Schulte's quote for $39,159 to complete all the commercial water meters in the city.
And the rest of the residential.
Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Hurt.
Forensic audit,
I'd like to take that into executive session again for personal reasons.
Jersey County Rural Water Emergency Interconnect.
I think, John, we first have to talk about that in the executive session, we need to on that.
Okay.
But there's issues of litigation and legal that we need to.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna move to new business now. Special event request by Lisa Allen for Color Run.
Hello.
Hi.
We are back again to get the color run approved for April 30th, that's our 4th year. The same route as before, the same kind of components and everything.
I'll make a motion to approve the color run.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the Color Run. And I'm sorry, what was
For
the date?
Saturday, April the 30th. Sorry, I should have stated that. Wolfridge Color Fun Run for Saturday, April the 30th.
Roll call.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Hurt.
Do you have a rain date or rain or shine? Okay. Colors are on better with rain, right? Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Next, we're gonna move to a personnel item. Have Heather Kraus here tonight. I would like to make an appointment of city clerk to Heather. Of course, with expressing consent of the council. Heather's been in Bunker Hill for a couple days.
I was 3.
I think she'll be a good city clerk for us. have any objections or?
Any motion just to,
No,
Basically, you're appointed her now, the council has to take up the whole, they advise and consent, they're gonna be in motion. So the clerk, whoever the temporary clerk is now should call the roll call as to whether members of the council advise and consent in favor of this appointment.
Roll call, please.
Rucker,
yes.
West.
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
yes,
Householder,
Yes.
Girth,
Come up and
welcome, Bobby.
Heather, I can get you to sign the 3 copies. This is yours to keep, this one's yours to keep as the clerk, okay? This one's mine, but I'm gonna ask you to raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible, and I'm now administering the oath. Would you please repeat after me? I, Heather Kraus, shall solemnly swear and affirm that I will perform the duties of city clerk of the city of Bunker Hill.
I will perform the duties of the city clerk of the city of Bunker Hill,
Need to put my glasses on. Including those duties imposed upon the office by statute,
including those duties imposed upon by the office.
by statute, and requests for services from other appointed or elected officials.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
You can even read it. It's right here where it starts with then request.
And request for services from other appointed or elected officials of the city of Bunker Hill, including members of the city council. I state that I shall uphold the laws and constitutions of the United States and the states of Illinois and the ordinances of the city of Bunker Hill. to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
congratulations.
I think you should sign that one now that you're doing that. And then you can just keep that one. 2 sets, the one's yours and one's the official set. Keep in your records. Okay? Thank you.
Take a seat. Okay, James Bertinoli Memorial Park. Got a septic tank quote.
This is that in here. Jim's quote.
It's in the, yeah,
What's the
yes,
number?
it
Yes,
is.
it's
It
in
is
the-
in that paper clip. on the page, oh, yes.
So if you can refer to your extra sheets on the table, mine is the second one, it's for Meisenheimer. So the city about 4 years ago bought a used septic tank. And we have found out that it's not going to be able to be used. So they paid $600 for it. The gentleman that we bought it off of is going to reimburse us over the next month for the $600. So we're gonna get that back. So we did get a bid from Jim Eisenheimer to, also includes a soil test. We have to have a soil test done first, so we can locate the proper place to put the septic tank. And then this is the price of the septic tank and for Jim to install it. And he said this could be a little high. If anything, it could go down. So I'll give you guys a minute to look at that since it wasn't in the packet.
So our goal for the Bertinoli Park is to have running water and
Flushable toilets.
flushable toilets in
Yes.
the park is our goal.
So with the new bathrooms that we purchased, was that last month? They would get hooked up to this new septic tank if we vote for that. Does anybody have any questions?
We don't know where it's gonna go, it's like exactly out there yet, right?
Because of the soil testing having to be done, he did not think it would be able to be put where the existing bathrooms are, but probably somewhere in that vicinity, correct?
Yeah, a lot of that behind the bathrooms where they are now, there's a lot of fill, concrete, debris, and what have you. And that's kind of all over the park out there, really. A lot of the valleys have been filled in and leveled out over the years, but
I don't know if it's big enough. I was just thinking it would be nice if, like, sometime in the future, if it had camping out there, that you could, have it easily accessible for a dump station too, but I don't know about.
well, we do have that in, we're talking about that too.
As I said, just if he could put it somewhere, like I said, I don't know if that would be.
I think that would have to, did he say that there would have to be another one?
Sure, it would have to, I'm sure there would be, but
Yeah, and the dump station would, there's no soil tests or anything for that, because if we get to that point, from what I've been told, the campers fill it up, and then we would have to pay a truck to come out and remove that every however often.
So if there's no other questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the quote for the $11,750 to put in a new septic tank at the Burton Park to go work well with the new bathrooms that we already purchased.
second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the quote for $11,750 for installation of septic tank at James Burton Park. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Lenore,
Yes,
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Dirk,
Yes.
Maymeister Whitaker Memorial Park concrete quotes.
That's on page 83. So the concrete quotes are for the new batting cage, since we're moving the old one, and we're going to repurpose that concrete for picnic table area for the new concession stand. We need to put in a new batting cage. My thoughts are, when we do the batting cage is typically 28 foot by 70 foot. I would like to multi-purpose the batting cage for off-season. We're looking at already putting in one pickleball court. I would like to make a suggestion of making this batting cage the same size as a pickleball. It actually will be 10 feet longer to subside with the batting cage, but we could make it 30 feet wide, and then we could have a second pickleball court in the off-season of the batting cage when it's not being used. If the pickleball courts take off, then you could have two instead of just one. So that price, it's would be $11,550 to go to the 30 by 70. And the pickleball court dimensions that I got off of online is 30 by 60. So. And then the other bit that is just giving you guys different options that we could look at. And then the last one is the dock landing for the new docks to attach to. 80 by 30 foot is what he figured for any concrete slab. 4 inches thick, And then he's also gonna put, 4 16-inch by 40-inch piers, and then 4 rings for that it's to attach to. And that's $4,850. Do you guys have thoughts or comments on the batting cage going up to an extra 2 feet?
For the batting cages, I didn't hear what you said, but you were talking about when they spin them larger for basketball.
No, if we went 2 foot wider, we're wanting to put in some pickleball courts.
Okay,
So if we go 2 foot wider, it would be able to be used as a second pickleball court if,
okay,
on the off season of
Yeah.
batting cages.
okay. Makes sense.
It's just kind of a dual purpose for it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, if
no.
pickleball takes off
You know
like
that
Julius
far
told me
out,
it's going to,
but-
we're gonna be having leagues out there. But she also said that she would give us free lessons on how to learn how to play pickleball too.
After I learned how to play. Never played.
New job.
Huh?
New job.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be very entertaining. Maybe we get a tournament against another council members from a different town. Do they have any questions?
North side versus south side.
There you
go.
I was just trying to think.
Okay.
With the batting cage, though, you're gonna use the batting cage probably from March, probably through September,
Yeah.
batting cage.
We talked about it being removable,
Mhm.
like they were removable, and that's just, there'd still be another court there, right?
For pickleball?
Pickleball,
Yeah, there will
yeah,
be.
for pickleball. So even with the cage up, there would still be another pickleball court. And then if we needed to, the cage, well, we looked at some cage options to put there, so. Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to vote tonight for both slabs to go in at the same time.
Would you save some money?
Well, I think you would because he's already here.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be here doing the piers and then he would be here doing the batting cage.
So what you're saying, we'd like to get another bid for doing it all at one time.
No, I'm saying that if he would come back at a different time, it could be higher.
Okay.
So for the bottom two on this, right?
Well, it would
Did
be.
he call you back on that for
Yeah,
sure,
he
that
did.
price? Okay.
Yeah. So for the batting cage / optional pickleball court, it would be $11,550. For the standalone pickleball court, we'll call it, it'd be $10,880. And for the, sorry, making sure I'm getting right.
Is
I'm
that-
sorry, that's not right. $11,550 for pickleball, batting cage / pickleball court, it's really hard to say. And then for the pickleball court only, it's $9,000. And then for the dock piers and the landing, it's $4,850. So that $10,880 is out.
Yeah, that was a different option.
Yes.
So the 11,000 was not showing there, right?
Where it says 9,800, that was for the size of the batting cage. So
Okay,
to make it a pickleball court, to go that extra 2 feet, 70 feet long.
Yeah.
It would go up to $11,550.
okay.
And I don't want to question his numbers because that, for the 34 by 64, it's more square feet than the 30 by 60. And it's $700 less.
Mhm.
So the 10,880 that was above it,
For 2,176 square feet.
yeah, a 30 by 70 is only 2,100.
So what do you think this math's running?
I think it should be 10.5.
10.5 on the new one?
Yeah. Because every other one had been $5 a square foot.
Oh, I thought you said 550, that's why.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so
it
we're
was
talking
$5 a square foot.
Okay. Then yes. So 30 by 70
Yeah, it should be 10,
times 5.
10,500, yeah.
Sorry. He called during the pledge and I had to send him a message. So 10.5.
Yeah.
So you guys want a total? 10.5. Plus 48.50. Yes, thank you. $24,350 for all three things to be done.
Is this still grant money or is this coming out of the parks funds or part from here,
Part
part
of
from
it.
there?
Well, if we're regenerating that 35,000 savings from the dock to that front tile-in area, if we don't take that out and they're working on putting that back into the grant, then this would come out of the park fund and that would not.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
This will come out of the park fund, not the grant.
Correct, but then that 35, I think it was, for that tiling at the front area will come out of the grant.
Going to the grant.
We have to get it approved, which I'm sure they will. And they may have already, I just don't know it yet.
Okay.
So what was the total again, Jerry?
$24,350. And do we want to break it down separately?
Yeah,
Actually, this is 4,000.
Well, why don't we definitely do your dock landing? We've got the dock out there, we're gonna need to land it. So
And that's what I was wondering, if we kept part of that dock price out for the landing. So let's just say that it's not, if it is moving forward.
So I guess we should ask for a motion to,
Have something to attach the dock to,
I'm sorry,
to have something to attach the dock to.
yes. So do we have a motion for the dock landing?
So I'll make a motion to have them do the dock landing with a 8-foot by 30-foot slab with 4 piers and 4 rings for $4,850.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and approved to accept Kyle Connell's quote on the dock landing for the park. Roll call.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Lenore,
Yes.
Brown, Householder,
Yes.
Earth.
Okay, so again, the dimensions of the pad for the batting cage were 30 by 60.
30 by 70.
30 by 70.
Batting cage needs to be 70 foot long because of all of our grand slams in the high school. So it is set up to, for high school students to use.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and pour the footing in the concrete for the pad for the batting cage,
30 foot by 70 foot,
30 foot by 70 foot.
10,500.
10.5.
Yes. I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the quote for the batting cage concrete of $10,500. Roll call.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Lenore,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder.
Yes.
Earth.
Yes.
And what we didn't talk about is location. Do we need to talk about that? If we're gonna try to put them next to each other up there on the hill. What I call the hill.
Say, let's just have the committee
Okay,
figure that out.
perfect.
Councilman would like to chime in on that? Any other councilman would like to chime in on where to put it? Be a big help. So then the third option here would be the pickleball court. Correct, Carrie?
Yes, the pickleball court is the 30 by 60. 4-inch slab with a 4-inch rock face for $9,000. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the court, the concrete slab for the pickleball, the future pickleball court for $9,000.
Second.
Is it the 9,000 or the 9,800?
9,000. Yeah, it's the 30 by 60.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded.
You weren't wanting to make it the same size as the other one, were you?
No, I just had it mixed up
Okay.
on my paperwork in here. Sorry. Sorry.
So yeah, motion's been made and seconded to approve the pickleball court for $9,000,
30 by 60.
30 by 60. Roll call.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder, Kurth,
Lawn maintenance equipment quote.
Okay, so we need to refer back to the ones on the the paperwork on the table to the TEC electric, and then the one in the book on page 86.
On the lawn maintenance equipment quote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What page?
121, very last page. Trimmer.
Yes. So we had a public works meeting, the minutes were in the packet, and we asked if there was something that they would need for keeping up with the weed eating out at the parks and other area locations. And we talked about getting a new weed eater that is battery operated along with an extra battery. So that is on page 121, and it is $713.02. It's a 536 Linux, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Lithium ion.
What he said. Any questions on it?
Talk about 713, right, oh, two?
Correct.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the string trimmer. 535,
String.
536 LX. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder. Yes. Kurth,
John's up and with another blade. Yeah.
Next item is the lift station quotes.
Now back to what I said a minute ago. So page 88 in your book is the two that is laying in front of you from TEC Electric. I'm gonna let Luke talk a little bit about these, and then, Nick is also here, who did the TEC Electric bid, if we have any questions for him, or if he'd like to explain it. Luke, you wanna talk first about them, or you just want me to?
Our pump stations are very outdated and seriously deficient. Have been for some time. Plus, we have to repair them.
This is what you talked about several meetings ago, right? You just gotta hang in there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay to have Nick come up. Sure. You wanna come up?
Sure.
Yeah, like Luke said, do you call that the main pump station by the city garage?
On Alton.
Yeah, Alton Station. Yeah, that basically is all just the control equipment. One of the big motor starters, I've repaired it 2 or 3 different times, and it's about to go. So that estimate will show basically just all the control equipment. You know, the pumps are gonna stay, existing pumps and float switches, that's all good and gonna stay. It's just the control equipment, which that stuff's a little tricky because when you change it out, time is of the essence, of course, because the water's rising all the time. The generator and the utility uses the same control equipment to run it, so you kind of have to work on one side at a time. And something that helped out on the price was the main enclosure for the control equipment. It's either stainless steel or aluminum, I forget, but it's in good shape. You know, the only problem was maybe some pull knobs on it, and that can be replaced. So that saved on some labor too, so we don't have to replace that entire enclosure. So that helps. So it's basically everything inside of that, and the only addition would be, so it's basically 2 motor starters for the pumps. You know, you have that electronic relay alternator, so it uses pump 1 and pump 2. That's common on a lift station, so it has the same usage and one doesn't seize up from inactivity. So all that's changed. Just all the control within that enclosure, and it's listed on the estimate, will be changed to new. And then the only additional thing would be this email sender. So there would be a new float switch. In my opinion, that's the most reliable. That'll activate this email sender. It's an electronic device. It's got its own intrinsic software, so you don't have to have anything to help enable it. And, you know, they've been out for quite a while, and they're reliable. But the only downside to it, you'll have to have a Wi-Fi service connected to it. And that's typically like a $10 a month fee.
So how long do these panels typically last?
Oh, they'll last for decades. You know, just like that one, I mean, no telling how old that is. Those are old motor starters, and they're still good. I mean, they size them, you know, typically 1 through 5. I think they have bigger ones, but those are 4s in there. They're big motor starters, and so they're built to last. They take, you know, they kick on all the time, and that's what's hard on motor loads. You know, all that startup all the time, but they're made to absorb that, and they do.
Is there any kind of warranty?
There be your basic, you know, 1-year warranty with from the manufacturer, but I really hadn't thought of that. But
I hadn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be comfortable in backing it up a lot longer than that, because I know the material's going to be good, and you know, if anything happens to it, it's most likely going to be right away if there's some manufacturer defect. Otherwise, if it's in there for a month or so and run and start stop, it's there to last.
And if I understand what Luke has told me, and I think even back before Jake took leave, the parts for the current one are also becoming obsolete. Is that correct? They're getting harder to get.
Well, some
Just
of them,
not
I mean,
replacing.
they update them, you know, and there's different styles of starters, but, the ones I figured in are the most durable. Some have a little more adjustments on them, but, they tend to, the overload part of it that protects the pump motor, those tend to not be as reliable on the adjustable type. So I go with that stationary type that's estimated here.
Okay, so this is the 18,824 is the one for the Alton, the big one, around Alton Street.
Yes,
And then this other 11,152 is for Hickory Street Pump Station.
correct.
The
And,
rest of our pump stations are still in good shape is what everybody said.
yeah, as far as I know, I really haven't looked at the other stations.
So the 1,179.66 for adding the feature to email, does that include the existing pump stations or will we need to get an
Yeah.
additional price?
No, that's a flat price for every pump station because
Okay,
it's
that's what I
essentially the
thought.
same work, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially the same work, they're set up the same way, there's just minor differences and won't affect my price at all.
And John, this comes from which account? The
Sewer.
sewer only?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So. Do you have any idea how old the other ones are? Or Luke, do you?
The year that I have been told was 1992.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
This something to be monitored by phone?
Email.
Yeah.
So it'll send out email alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I figured just for high water level, no low water. That's probably not necessary unless you can make a reason. But you know, you have the floats there for the pick up the water. Nothing's gonna run if the water's low anyway.
Right.
That I don't really know what the low level would be on those.
So the total I came up with is 31,156.18. If somebody wants to double check me.
Say that one more time, Gary.
31,156.18.
And this is for which station or this is for?
This is for both the Alton, the West Alton Street pump, the large one, the Hickory Street one, and to go to all the pump stations to be email alerts.
Yeah, and to be clear, the estimate for the email sender, that 1179.66, that's for each individual pump station, you know, so I thought originally we were figuring for maybe two of them, but this is one flat rate price for whatever pump station you want these on.
Okay, so
So however many you
should be
choose,
this times.
yeah.
Okay, and how many do we have left over? So hold that thought. Thank you for the clarification.
Sure. And I think something else that should be mentioned too, the Hickory Street station, it's different type of work in the sense that, most of the control is good at Hickory Street. There's just a couple of the enclosures are rusted out. So they need to be changed out, the equipment put back in, and the backboard frame for the mounting frame, it's made out of lumber, and that thing's really weak now, you know. So this will be replaced with galvanized steel posts, galvanized steel unistrut channel will be mounted on it, and then the enclosure will be mounted on that. And then a new utility pole is going to be set. That's our responsibility. It's not Ameren's pole. And it does have to be by Ameren specs separated couple of feet from the new mounting frame. They don't want those attached, and that old one's not either, but, so that all has to be set in line, set up, so it's a fairly quick switch over when that happens. So there is a new service being put on there so it can meet current codes. That otherwise, there's not that much control equipment there, and most of that's staying. It's just gonna be installed in a new enclosure. There's 2 different enclosures, I believe, on that one.
Okay. So I apologize, I didn't understand that part. 35,874.82 for all of it. So the 2 pump stations and then to make them all to where they get email alerts. It's 35,874.82. $35,874.82, and that would come from the sewer account. And it sounds like this is something that probably should have been replaced already, so unless somebody's got questions, I'm gonna make a motion to approve both new pump stations, at the one at West Dalton Street for $18,824. The one at Hickory Street for $11,152.52, and then to make all the pump stations for $5,898.30 to where they will email alerts, bringing the total to $35,874.82. Nick, what is the timeline for you to be able to do that?
Probably
Just ballpark.
by May, into May. The only thing that might hinder that timeline is availability of some of this equipment. Yeah, some things, especially meter bases, we've been having a hard time with, and some of that control equipment. But most of it so far has been in stock and getting it pretty fast. But so, and of course, I'd make sure everything's in place before starting on any of that. You got to have it there to replace it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do we need a second? A second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve the TEC Electric estimate for $35,874.82 out of the sewer fund to replace the control switches in the pump stations. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Bird.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick. Luke, thank you.
Next is copier maintenance.
Copiers. So our copiers, I'm sure you guys have seen it in the packets, are currently with Watts, that we leased them. Chris did a cover page that was on the table. I'll let you guys look at that for a few minutes. You also referred to the book. A lot of the conversations start, I believe, on page 80 or 90, excuse me. And it talks about, so we've leased this big well, we have 4 printers right now. 2 that are currently leased from Watts. 1 we're sending back because they don't need it. 1 is what we use to print the checks with, so we do need it. And then the other one is the large one that they do 99% of their copying and printing from. So, Chris, do you remember the dollar amount we paid at the end of the contract? Okay, so at the end of the contract, on the current big one, we will have paid $5,204 and we don't own it. If you refer to page 101 in the book, I asked her if she would reach out to another company and get us a bid on him. So Williams Office Products came up and they looked at what we had and compared it and gave us a bid comparable to what we have now. And it's $5,454.50 and we would own it at the end. So we do have to pay a cancel now payment to Watts for $1,367.36. If we have them pick that up to get out of our contract. But the rest are already out of contract and they would be picking those up. Williams told them that they would not even entertain doing a contract with us for the check payment just because they're so reasonable and that we should just go out and buy one. And that's what that $395 page is in your staple with the other papers. We're not doing anything else. So really, to me, it makes more sense to go with Williams to where you end up owning it. I mean, I think we do print, a fair share, but I don't think we print something to where the machine's gonna be wore out after 5 years. And then Chris, they have a maintenance agreement on the back.
So with Williams, that also comes with toner also, correct?
Yes.
And that is color and black and white. And this have wireless printing.
It should have.
It says network ready, but
I would say that's why it was printing. I don't even know if they should make it that big if they don't.
So Watts is the company that we're presently with.
Correct. Yeah, and they've spent, like I said, well, at the end of this contract, if we would let that contract run out, it would be $5,304 and we don't own it.
Wow.
And then there's this $5,454.50 after the same amount of period, and we would own it. It is, and Watts included the toner as well, didn't it? I mean, did Watts, the current Watts contract did, or did?
On the 2 big ones, not on the check.
Okay. And the contract is up on the check from them. So if we had them bring new, we would be starting a new 5-year contract on everything. And again, you wouldn't own it at the end. So the total that we paid for the check printer that we have now is $2,640, and we can go buy one for $395. It's a pretty substantial savings. Even if you had to buy one every year for 5 years, you're still saving money. Question?
Do we need two separate motions then?
Yeah, we'll make a motion to, well, we're doing three probably. One to, if we're gonna vote for the Williams, we need to have a motion to get rid of the Watts, have the Watts picked up
Yes.
and come out of that contract, and then we'll have to have a motion for the Williams. And then Chris, the other one is, where? Walmart. So the other one's Walmart. Okay, this time I'm gonna make a motion to discontinue use of Watts Contracting, or Watts Copiers, and break our contract, so we would need a motion for $1,367.36 to discontinue their use.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded to discontinue the contract with Williams Office Products.
Watts.
Watts, I'm sorry. Watts. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West, yes, Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Earth,
Second motion would be to purchase a Laser Pro M402N laser printer with built-in Ethernet for the check writing system for $395 from Walmart.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to purchase printer for $300.
I'm sorry, it's an HP, but I didn't say that.
HP printer. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Earth,
And the third portion is to purchase a new Sharp MX3071S printer and copier for $5,454.50, with the payments being $116.73 over a 5-year period that we will own at the end. Can we put the service contract in with that?
Yes.
So are we wanting to do, I'm assuming we're wanting to do both the color and the black and white.
It comes that way, yes.
Yeah, so it's, for 1 year maintenance contract, it's $550. Am I reading that right, Chris? Okay.
Yes. You made the motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to purchase printer from
Williams office.
Williams Office Supply. Post maintenance contract. Roll call.
Rucker,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder,
Yes.
Earth,
What did they say the lead time on that one was? To get it?
I gotta get back to him, he said it could be up to 4 weeks.
Chris, on a suggestion for the HP LaserJet, if you go online and do the HP Direct and get the cartridges through them,
Mhm.
they'll come at a discount.
Okay.
And then it monitors the machine, so it automatically sends them out to you when you need them.
Okay. And that's direct from HP.
Yeah. Pretty cool deal, because about the time that you run out and you forget to order them, they're showing up. Thank you, Lisa, that's a good suggestion.
The next topic is the business district diagonal parking. Talked about this a couple of months ago. We had a citizen actually
Yeah, so
mention this.
the consensus from some of the citizens is they think if we change the parking uptown in the business district on, so in front of the Sage House, Red's, Billy Goat's Museum, and the hair salon to diagonal parking, that it would be easier to see to get in and out. Any thoughts on that?
The safety factor, we're gonna lose a lot of parking.
You could potentially probably lose one parking spot, I
Well,
would say. I mean, I don't think by turning them in there diagonally, you're gonna
Those
lose
are
them.
triangle, okay,
Yeah,
not for parallel.
right.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay, yeah,
Diagonal.
no, yeah,
Yeah, that way you're
because
just,
that's, I agree with it,
you'll be, you know,
Yeah.
kind of a better vantage point to
Yeah.
cars coming up on you.
Luke, you see any reason why we couldn't do that or shouldn't do that?
I think you're probably gonna be losing more than one parking spot, but
Is that something we could lay out and see?
Get up there early in the morning.
There's not very many people in there at 7 when I go through. Is that something you think you could lay out and see how many parking spots we could accomplish from that? Okay. And then, so we could just table that back and if you can report back to us next month and we can make a decision.
sure thing.
Thank you very much.
Next is municipal hall. Floor waxing. So, the other day in the snowstorm, there was, I guess we put down a de-icer that doesn't really like our floor. However, it is really time to strip and wax it anyway. We've talked about doing it for the last 2 years at least, so, were you able to get a quote on waxing it?
We were not. They're coming tomorrow at 1. And I had another gentleman return my call, but I haven't called back yet. But he said he is booked out for at least a month. So I don't know. I haven't called him back because I didn't know if you guys wanted to wait a month or if we want to try. The floor seems very slick to me now. Maybe it's just me and the shoes that I have on, but I just was thinking if it's going to be a concern with having the fish fries coming up here, that we need to maybe get it done before then. My initial thought was afterwards.
Yeah.
But now with the slickness, I'm totally concerned. So I don't know if we want to put, I have no idea how much it costs to have floors on, not clear. I don't know if we want to put a dollar amount on it, then if it covers it.
But you got any feel for how much it may cost? I honestly don't remember the last time we've had it done, to be perfectly honest.
You spend $1,000.
So are we gonna do in here, the restrooms and in the other room?
I think we should, the floor in the other council chambers really needs to,
Just get them all done.
there's a lot of bare spots in there where the wax is totally gone.
And it's the same situation, you can see where people have walked in there too.
I'm not disagreeing with doing this, but I was wondering with the fish fry coming in, if that's coming to just scrub it so it wasn't slick and then after fish fry, get the match finished. So we're gonna get it all finished and have to redo it again.
They have mopped in here 3 or 4 times
Oh, they have,
since this incident, trying to get rid of, because they didn't know what it was at first.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's some kind of, I mean, like if you put a comment or something in there that's,
I guess my question is, maybe ask this commercial players coming in tomorrow, if somebody can do that. Get us through to that point. No, it needs to be done, which I totally agree to. I just hate to spend a number of thousands of dollars and 2 months and I have to redo it again. But I don't want a safety factor either.
right.
Yeah, that's greater than anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Glenn, what do you, I mean, my initial thought was the same thing, is to wait until after. But what do you think it would hurt to have people on them after they're done from the fish fry? Are you thinking the amount of travel with people or the amount, or the different types of food?
I would think, probably just the wear and tear from the event, that's what I'm thinking, but.
I mean, I would like to think it will hold up. for any event. But, I don't know, we can talk to him and see, but I mean, do we want to put a dollar amount on it so we don't have to come back for a meeting if we're trying to get it done before the 25th?
I wouldn't, my thoughts is on top of my head, are that we got a couple, it needs to be done, get a couple bids, and if the bidder looks good to the committee doing it, do it.
So why don't we do like a $2,500, not to exceed $2,500, to do in here, the council chambers, police department, Zach?
Are you having the same issue in there?
Yeah, I guess after that got put on the board, we also have like the white residue all throughout the police department as well.
Yeah,
It's kind of, the floors are honestly needed anyway.
they do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, they absolutely do.
Have you tried buffing?
We don't have a buffer.
The buffer would probably pull us right back. I've worked for the school districts for 15 years. I've seen a lot worse than this after snows. And there is no ice melt that is good on the floors. None. Whether it's rock salt or chemical or anything. But if you buff it, a lot of times it'll come back. The floor wax has zinc in it. And the zinc lays over, and that's what gives you shine. When you get a hot, the buffer makes it heat up, and this would probably pull back up a good buffer.
Well, thank you, that's good to know. Do we want
Thank you, Greg.
to see if he wants to
You
give us a
might
bid
try
to
borrow
buff?
it from the school and try it. Just a little bit, one evening, and one outcome.
I can definitely ask the school to
Yeah,
borrow their buffer.
we'll go ahead and get that bid to redo, and then, Chris, when he's here tomorrow, would you ask him if he's got any suggestions? We'll try this certainly, and then if not,
And you want all of it? In the kitchen,
any other time?
so everything in here, the chambers, the bathroom.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
So as far as accepting the quotes,
Do you want us to
we'll make them.
Make a motion for up to 2,500 for the floors of the
I'll check
buffing.
see what-
Okay, so our plan is to just make sure we're right. We're gonna try the buffer for before fish season, and if that solves the problem, then we'll move to have this done after the fish fry season. Okay. So we're gonna make a motion to have the floors redone anywhere there's tile in the municipal building, not to exceed $2,500.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded for the floor tile waxing. Roll call, please.
Rucker,
Yes.
West. Yeah. Menard,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Householder.
Yes.
Girl.
Next in our executive reports. Luke?
Some of the highlights in the public works department this month. We ran all of our required drinking and sewer water samples to lab. Filed all of our drinking and sewer water reports to EPA, staying in compliance. We did read the water meters by the Neptune system. That was successful. We've had some customers complain about low water pressure after getting the meters, so I went out and back flushed some of the systems. They've been setting in July. Had a couple houses, South Clinton and South Franklin. We did that too. We removed the Christmas tree uptown, and keep traffic into the reservoir. We had to repair 12-inch culvert that Paul Hayes had mixed out of his work at the ballpark. Also, he got into a 2-inch water line out there that we had to repair. We had an incident at the East Street pump station for a few days. Was only running one pump, but there were some trip breakers and changed an alternator, some tank floats. We finally got that resolved. We changed out the majority of all the old water meters to new Neptune meters. We did shut off this month. for the delinquent accounts. We also went out, salt roads for the January 27th winter storm. We did plow snow and lay down salt for the February 2nd winter storm. And then just within the past week, we've had 2 water main breaks on the 400 block of South Clinton and also the 400 block of South Clinton. Any questions?
Your next water meter reading is when?
Typically the 15th of the month.
Hopefully everything will be smooth sailing, right?
Yeah, it went really well last month, so looking to keep it going.
On the lagoon, how are we coming? As far, I mean, do you have, I know you said it froze up on us.
There's still quite a bit of ice on the wetland itself. There's no answer but to wait for it to melt off.
Okay.
Complimentary line system.
Okay. And then, just to update you, I do have a name and a number for a guy to get a price on the new blanket cover.
I have 2 of them that I can get.
Perfect.
And that's the responses for 16.
Great. So we'll have 3 of those then for the next meeting. That's great. Thank you.
Zach?
Complete settlement, answered 133 calls for the month of January. There's multiple calls from domestic, that reported additional officers, like you and assist the officers that are on duty to help in a safer situation for all involved. I also submitted the racial profiling to the Illinois State Police, which is done once a month. There's still multiple cases under investigation, criminal charges, working on getting big charges that were neglected. John Yates started the police academy, and he's doing very well in Belleville. I went and got certified as a sexual assault investigator to deal with any sexual assault that happened in our venue. Holly Castle is certified as a direct alcohol operator, and she actually did write a DUI here recently this past month. Multiple traffic citations were issued for speeding and various other citation issues. A few more officers have been registered for classes that are mandated by the state. Multiple warrant arrests were made for various warrants that were in the area. Our vest grant has been secured and ready for use. I'm working on getting quotes for different vests from different companies, such as Leon's and then Rail Baron. And I assisted the Major Case Squad here for a call here in the area on January 31st.
Hey, Zach, on that vest grant, I don't know if this is something we could do or not. Sean bought his own vest.
Yes.
I don't know if they would allow us to turn that in.
I don't know, I'd have to look in on that. I believe it has to be purchased by the municipality.
Okay.
I believe,
Okay. I just thought it was worth mentioning and see if we can.
but I can look into that as well.
Thank you. And then hopefully next month we'll have some more information on a possible grant for a car.
Thank you, Zach. City clerk. Yeah, just kidding.
I was watching this, I wasn't even listening.
So help you out here a little bit. So Chris has included the video gaming report packet. Some information from J&J Gaming in here. We have Rick explain a little bit of that to us here in a bit. Do you have any issues or concerns from past month, Chris? Okay. Go to me next. just want to remind everybody that the side-by-side stickers are coming due again for the new year. It's, coming
A
out.
reminder in the paper, maybe, just remind people of it's gonna do.
That wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
So Glenn, we started doing a spreadsheet, starting with this year's new sales. And
Okay.
then we're also including their email address, so in December, like December 1st of this next year, we'll be able to email
okay.
all the people and just remind them that their sticker will be
Oh, yeah,
expiring at the
yeah.
end of 12/31/2022, and that they can purchase new ones. So we'll have to make sure we have the new ones come December 1st, probably of 2022.
Also, a little bit of different stuff on the agenda. We moved the comments from visitors to the end of the meeting. That was a request from several citizens to do. Just point that out, that that's where that's at now. We'll keep it there for a little while. So, having that said, we're going to move to comments from visitors.
I have some copies here of some text messages and some Facebook messages if you all like to look over them. I was the gentleman that got the plow truck stuck over on Southwest Drive. Okay, never did I leave the equipment abandoned. I was told by higher up, my supervisor, to go home. I would have gladly stayed to get the equipment out with the proper stuff. We couldn't get it out with what we had. We didn't have an industrial tractor, like Comnick or Jarvis to hook a chain to hold it up. Okay. So that's why I'm here talking, is because of all the Facebook talk and everything like that. And there's some lying going on. I mean, in the messages that you can read, you can see a lot of backpedaling after saying the city guys left the equipment ban. I don't like that, because I use that equipment every day to provide for my family. And I've been wrote up for nothing. In the union contract 3.2, it states I have to notify someone within the city. I notified Luke McNeese, which is my supervisor, and I notified Kerry Brown that I was out plowing for the township. I donated my time to work around here to help my city that I live in. Okay, that goes for everybody. But if you don't know the facts, don't post stuff on the internet. That goes to all you keyboard warriors out there. Keep on punching the buttons, baby.
So Keith, when you told me that you were working for the township, you were already working for the township.
I was
You had called
volunteering
me.
my time, yes.
Well, you didn't say you were volunteering, you just said you were plowing for the township.
Yeah.
But when you called me, you were asking about going to check on the water line, and I said I would get a hold of Luke.
Yeah.
So
And I also have,
I think 3.2 means that you're supposed to tell us ahead of time.
well, it may have, but it says notify. It doesn't say I have to have confirmation that I
Right.
can work there.
I'm just saying, so
Okay.
you didn't notify me. I can't speak for anybody else in the room, but you did not notify me before you were plowing for them.
Okay, so you were notified though after, whenever I was plowing for them?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes, and I told you
so
on that.
you was notified. And Luke was notified also.
Okay,
He knew whenever I was getting off work, I said, hey, I'm going to plow for the township. If you need me, call me in. I also called you about a water leak because the officer that found the leak couldn't get a hold of anybody. So
that's when you called me, correct?
am I supposed to ignore them calls even though I work for the Public Works Department?
No,
Or should I act on them
you did the right thing. You called me.
for the city?
You called me.
Okay, and then plowing snow, the officer tried to contact the supervisor, didn't get no answer, called me. I ignored the call once for him to leave a voicemail, and the second time I did answer.
Okay.
But in the overtime stuff, you guys say, oh, well, you can't work overtime until it's authorized. Correct.
What does your contract say?
My contract says it has to be authorized.
Okay.
With the winter storm coming in, don't you think you'd authorize us to work and plow?
Luke, have I ever told you when you called me about working overtime? No.
But the text message that I got from Luke, from you, states, let me get it out here. So I just got the word that we can't go out and plow until we get authorization from the officer on duty that the roads are bad enough. I will call you when that happens, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, is that not saying we can't go out and plow?
No, I think that says when you get authorization, and actually it wasn't authorization, we were trying to let you guys sleep if you chose to go home and sleep. And John made the decision to have the officer call when the roads got bad. That way, if you guys went to go home to sleep, to rest, that you could. And then unfortunately, the water line broke and he got called out anyway. So no, Keith, nobody said anything about, nobody, to my knowledge, and I certainly have not ever said that you couldn't work overtime.
Okay, so Wednesday, we quit plowing snow at 3:30 and it was still snowing. Don't you think as a council board and, you know, the roads being as bad as they were, for us to keep plowing so we could keep up with it, or let them get worse? So
Did anybody tell you to stop?
that man right over there, we clocked out at 3:30 and went home.
You clocked out at 3:30 on Wednesday?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was not asked. I was not told that you guys were leaving. I was not told that you guys were, you didn't ask, if nobody asked me if you could continue
I
plowing.
mean, Mr.
So-
Chapman wrote me up for not even touching the roads, for untouched roads and leaving citizens at risk. I mean, I plowed for a day and a half before I got that truck stopped.
Let's go back to the stuff truck. What time did the truck get stuck?
It was probably in between 1:45, 2 o'clock maybe. I
So,
don't know an exact time.
okay, so I'm just gonna tell you that we got a call, I think the citizen said it at noon. We did not know this until between 6 and 6:30 that night that the truck was even stuck.
But you got a phone call at noon.
No. They said at noon. They said that the truck got stuck at noon. But they were telling us this story at between 6 and 6:30 at night, correct?
That's correct.
John called me and asked me if I was aware that the truck was stuck. And my answer was no. I texted Luke immediately and I said, is there a truck stuck? And that's where the conversation went from there. Who made a phone call to Paul Hayes to see if he could come and get the truck unstuck?
I did. I did what I
And how
could.
much was Paul gonna charge us?
He was gonna do me a favor.
Well, when I asked Paul Hayes how much he was gonna charge us, he said, I don't know yet because I don't know if I can do it without hurting the truck. I'll have to come and look at it first and then I can give you a price.
Okay,
And I also have that in a text message. So I don't think we did anything wrong. We certainly did not tell you guys that you could not work overtime. Not plowing snow or not doing anything else have we ever one time said that you could not work overtime. So if you want to refer to the internet and the tapping of the keys, we can go back and we can pull up all the conversations and we can see who started the conversation about us not saying that you guys could work overtime.
okay, well.
Fair
I'm
enough?
Yeah, I'm being told to go home at 3:30.
Is that your supervisor telling you that?
Yes,
Then that's all you need to do.
that's all I need to do, but then we get bashed. Or then we get and then we get told that we left the roads
Well-
untouched or uncovered.
I'm not a big Facebook fan, but I'm not gonna let somebody sit and bash the council about us saying we didn't allow.
But you're gonna be the first one to say that we abandoned the equipment and then do Michael Jackson and moonwalk backwards.
Where did I
throughout the
moonwalk
conversation.
backwards? You did it, you did. Did
Throughout
you leave
your
the equipment?
conversation.
Did you make any
Did I
council member
abandon
aware?
it? No, because my supervisor was aware.
Okay. So you sent me an email at 4:30 in the morning, telling me that you were concerned about the citizens and that you wanted to know if you could go out plowing. You didn't call me like you normally do. You didn't text me like you normally do.
No.
You sent me an email at 4:30 in the morning.
I put it on paper so I could track it and everybody could see.
So you didn't call or text after that, correct?
No.
But in your email, it states that you were concerned about the roads conditions and that a police officer had called you and that you thought we should be out plowing.
Yeah.
And that you were concerned about somebody getting hurt or even a fatality. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But then it was okay to leave the truck out there when the winter storm was really hitting? It was okay to
The
leave it
snow was
stuck out
done
there?
whenever the truck was stuck.
The snow was not done.
It was barely flurrying whenever
The
the
roads
truck
were
was stuck.
horrible, Keith.
Yeah,
When I found out the truck was
because
stuck,
we-
I was
nobody
coming
was
back
out
from
plowing.
Edwardsville.
We have one plow truck.
Correct.
The backhoe don't go down side streets. They get in front of the fire department, the library, and that's where they go for the
Okay.
last 4 years.
Well, this
So
conversation could
that,
go on.
that night, why weren't we plowing?
Did you authorize it?
No, answer the question, why were we not plowing?
Did you authorize it Wednesday night?
I would want to know why we weren't plowing. Why was the truck not plowing?
Because nobody authorized the overtime to be plowed.
Wasn't the truck stuck?
That's kind of the answer I'm looking for. Yeah, the truck was stuck.
Yeah, who helped you get it out?
The township and Dan Conley.
Yeah, Dan Comnick is no part of the township anymore. Nick Payne is the road commissioner.
Nick
It
Payne is
doesn't
there.
matter. That's the resources I used.
So you
That's
use
the
Dan
question I
Comnick
answered.
and then try to use the township in it. But
Sorry?
that's fine.
Say that again.
I said, you use Dan Comnick, but throwing the township in there, that you use them.
They were there. They came out and helped us. Yeah.
I think
So
Dan
you took
actually
work
helped.
from my bargaining unit that I need to inform Donnie of.
Well, if you want to call it that, I guess I did. Yeah.
I'll be sure to let him know that.
And-
So
and-
tell me how you proceeded to get the truck out.
How
What
I-
efforts did you put into it?
Well, me and Luke used the backhoe. We tried to use the tractor. We had no physical way of chaining the backhoe down to keep it from pulling to the truck when we were trying to get it out.
Okay. So
I
did you,
even called the township, which I called Chad Vaughn, that was working for the township, asked him to bring the big case tractor over, and it wouldn't. It would just pull back to the.
so it was okay for you to call the township,
I
but
was
it's not
doing
okay for
whatever
us.
it took to try to get the truck out.
and that is exactly what we were doing when we found out at 6:30 at night, and I called 4 large tow truck companies that said they couldn't get to it for 2 days. It was gonna be before they could get to it. Dan was here already helping get a piece of equipment out for the township that they got stuck. And then he offered in his tractor, like everybody said, it's really nice when people help out. Then he came out and tried to help. He couldn't pull it out. And that's when they came out with the township backhoe and got it out.
So you telling me that you didn't know until 6 o'clock? How did Luke tell me when we were getting ready to leave?
I said
that-
between 6 and 6:30.
Okay, we left that truck over there to go clock out at about 3:35. So how did Luke tell me that you were aware of it, that you called a tow truck company and they couldn't get to us because of everything stuck?
I don't know, you'd have to ask that Luke that, because I didn't know about it until I took my son to work in Edwardsville and I was on my way back.
That's
He had to get
what I would
work.
understand. Somebody's lying here. I mean, how would I know
Well,
that
ask Luke, he's
information?
sitting there.
How would I know that
Ask Luke,
information
he's
if it
sitting
wasn't, if it wasn't told?
You
to
see
me?
Luke? Ask him.
I didn't tell you that until the next one.
You didn't?
I
Okay.
did not.
I'll
even
have,
know.
I'll have to have Fred, because he heard me, or heard him also tell us that.
I can show you my phone, Keith, on the calls where I called. I called Bowers Towing first. They no longer have a big truck. I called Fred's. They weren't going to be able to get there at the earliest the next day. Sometime they thought maybe call them back in the morning when they get in. And then I called Tricky's. And then after I called Tricky's and they said they were done for the night because they had been helping township trucks get unstuck all evening and they still weren't back. I called a company in Carlinville, I think Dave's or Davis. And then after I talked to him and he couldn't come, he would come the next morning if we couldn't get it out. I called a company in Litchfield and left a message. Okay, now you tell me what else I could have done any differently.
Well, I was just.
When I found out between 6 and 6:30 at night.
Well, what I don't understand is.
Not at noon when it got stuck, not at 1:30 or 2 o'clock when you guys were trying to pull it out.
So it was my responsibility to notify you guys after my supervisor was notified. When in the email you state.
I'm just going back to the email you sent me about how concerned you were. I just feel like if you sent me an email at 4:30 in the morning, didn't call or text, but sent me an email at 4:30 in the morning telling me how concerned you were about the citizens, I'm finding it really hard to believe that you can walk away and leave a truck stuck, the only plow truck the city owns, stuck out there since noon
So.
and not tell me,
Was
or not tell John.
Was I supposed to stay there with the truck and be on overtime that I don't get paid for because it wasn't authorized? Or get wrote up for insubordination because I don't?
Well, if
listen
you would have
my
called to get
supervisor?
authorization for the overtime, I'd at least known the truck was stuck. How about that? How about that?
I mean, we're just, I just want to clear my, clear my name that I didn't abandon the city equipment. I use it every day to work. I was told to leave. But I'm the only one that gets wrote up. Not only once, twice, 3 times. Because I got the email today stating I was being wrote up for insubordination.
Did I write you up?
No,
Then why are you looking at me?
I didn't write you up for insubordination.
you didn't?
No.
The email that the 520 sent me today, that's a lie?
Read it. Tell me what it says.
Let me see here. What does it say? I think it's the letter that the attorney sent.
And that's not for me.
What's that?
So that's not for me.
The attorney letter? That is from you. It says Mayor Chapman.
But I'm not, I didn't write an attorney letter.
No, the attorney wrote you a letter that you received and didn't ever reach back out to me today to let me know anything.
So read my letter to Donnie.
This says here, Mr. Rose did what you asked. This ain't even it, but I could show you once I get home onto my email and, oh, here it is. Keith Rose refused to acknowledge 2 of the write-ups which we were emailed by him, not signing the valid warning or the written warning. So you didn't send that to him?
I did, but that is not a write-up.
That's what it says. Why do you think I sent you that message saying that, John, I will sign them in acknowledgement that I have received them?
Right. And my comment to Donnie was, if you don't acknowledge the write-ups, then I'll write you up.
So what you're saying is, I haven't been wrote up yet
That's correct.
because I acknowledged them by putting in protest on them.
That's correct. Yeah.
So are you gonna write me up for insubordination? Because I didn't do anything wrong. I signed them in protest like my union guy told me to do.
Trying to be real careful here, we're discussing things that really are union matters, and we may not, without his representative or attorney being present, you should be discussing with his own contract. I think you make a comment, you took it, the board's heard it, but more than that, I'd be careful.
Right. So we'll have to get back to you on that.
I spoke my mind, so, I mean, I let everybody know here that I did not abandon the equipment. If you would have asked me when you called me at 6 o'clock or whatever time it was, I was watching the news, hey, you got this thing stuck, would you come help me get it out? I'd have been more gladly to come out and help you. But I was told to leave. It's wrong that you wrote me up and not no one else. There was 3 of us over there. And regardless, with that truck stuck or not, we would have left at 3:30. You know it as well as I do. You're trying to cut all the overtime you can to lower the water rates. That's what you ran on, wasn't it, John?
Sir, we can't have this discussion with you, it's a union matter.
So,
Yep, thank you, Keith. This time I'd like to ask the board to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. This will go into the council chambers.
That's not an open
Yeah, let's leave the chairs. We shouldn't be in there too long.
Yes, it was.
She was reflecting.
It's not, you can't write a person for not signing the right. That doesn't make you think.
Oh, that's right.
If you don't sign it, I will write you up.
They can.
Your rate will be up.
Yeah, so if you're writing them up, you don't have to sign it. I mean, you can sign it, protest, whatever, you don't have to. I mean, that was all the refining and everything, that's all.
But I knew that he was gonna shut him down.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kerry had already said no, and then when John said, well, yeah, I would take away. That right there, that's open meetings, and he needs to take and file it with the union, that he said in open meeting that he took work away from him.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's online, it's, obviously I got the YouTube channel that they broadcast live on, so. Bye. My brother has way too much self-control. That's great. I don't know how to follow I want to see you afterwards. Well, 3 cats, I never had any problems for 18 years. Sorry. Well, I mean, you should have been heard. We clocked out at 4 o'clock on Thursday, we had planned to get out and we called our family.
So that truck is stuck on Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, it snowed Wednesday, and then it stopped for a while, and then it snowed again Thursday night.
Yeah, because I thought it stuff on Thursday.
I tried to start it with the whole Facebook thing, because I'm the one that said, well, the city guys ain't allowed to work overtime.
Well, that's what he told me, said it had to be authorized, so.
And they,
That was miscommunication, because the cop called me, if you want to call what I do, you want to let them know. Why would you say this? Why would you do this last week? Well, Friday was no. But if you have your Friday, on Friday. Well, yeah, every time it pops up, Friday, it's a, yes, a cop. And not call back twice. And here's the thing, though, my question is, why is the cops? They will say, hey, the roads are getting too bad, because they're, yeah, but if it's a guy like me, my opinion is, I'll drive through 3 foot of snow, it ain't too bad. You know, a guy up here might drive through that much snow, oh my God.
they used to be the transportation director for the school district, and I'm the one that said whether they had school or not. Now they don't do that. But it probably not. Well, now the superintendent. But see, I used to go out and drive roads, and then I meet with my colleagues and said, I don't want to put my buses on the road. You know, it's too dangerous.
Whenever I do that, I just have to call all 4 you guys. That's something I need. Good work, sir. Yeah. Their story is. I mean, this is 4 in the morning, we're out the morning. From 2 hours. I voted no for paycheck that. First off, that was over.
The mayor right there should be making a decision when you know we have what meetings you still cover or whatever.
Exactly what he said.
You should have already said, whatever it takes to get these streets, I'll make sure that if you get truck stuff, make sure you get.
It's pretty heavy doing one box truck, that's 3 shifts, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can keep rolling all night long, and you can move back though, and at the same time, I think that's the hard cooking is not good enough. And she said, that evening, 6:37 that evening, she started talking to me, so she phone call. 2 days before they were making that decision, because that was no stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and well, Susan called us at 6 o'clock at night and said it was just some snooze. He said it was 1:45, so he was the one that was there.
Yeah, because they can declare stuff, just because you put it in stuff. It's stuff that you can't get out. We have to get to it, so. So boom, 2 o'clock, it's stuff, it's, you know what I mean, we can't say it's stuff, they tried everything. I just remember.
We're Southwest. Oh, yeah, that subdivision right there. Not from all.
So what you guys put on the S two on the 1 year or that?
They didn't do it.
I had 350 was my minimum water bill every month. I was there.
Yeah, I know what I do. I know, but it still might keep going, I don't know.
Don't miss it.
I don't know. I don't know how far.
Outwardly, I never. She. I definitely take glasses of water out every day. I've got 3 wheels in my car, I let. Well, they took it off the old one. They took everything off my old one, and they then stuck it on the new one, right after the water. Yeah, that's why I kept telling her to do something wrong with you, but like the numbers on it, like it's like they kept having extra zeros at the end of it. So instead of like 4,500 gallons, they'll use 450 gallons. Or, yeah, 45,000 gallons. Look at that, double.
One person. I figured that right off.
See, that's right. Whenever it's. I don't know if I'm out here for a few minutes. But that's why I also don't, I hate to work when I open myself. I'll be cussing myself out sometimes too much. She said that the smaller court cost more, or again, when they switched the batting cage to the same size, it would be 100. Both same
Yeah, but I mean, you get that one of the wind. But, they were talking $70,000 for licenses. Phenomenal. Well, $55 for a 5 gallon bucket of wax. And it might take, for the whole village, it might take maybe 30 buckets of wax. But you gotta have a buffer. All this needs is bumped, and they never bumped it enough. Well, we wet mopped it 3 or 4 times. Well, yeah, you wet mopped it 3 or 4 times, so you just need salt from here to here to here to here. But, you got it done. When you wax your car, you don't just put wax on, leave it, you buff it. And it makes it real shiny, hurry, you know. When you put a buffer on this sucker and put a pad down there, and a polish pad, I'll guarantee you this will be a good shine. We bought all of our salt from the water softener company. Water softener company. Pallets and pallets of salt. We had 2 tractors that had salt spreaders on them. Sears, we used the salt spreader. And we wrote the parking lots and
Oh, where it says right there that we, Donnie Ferrari, this one Donnie Ferrari, forwarded me your February 8th email. Keith Rose has refused to acknowledge the 2 write-ups, the written write-up and the verbal write-up.
so if you don't sign them, you don't write it out.
I signed it.
That's what he said.
See, he said there, that's that word mine.
But he also said that if you got any on this, you make sure that you kept it so short that you didn't get. Oh, because when you said, so you're taking work away from me, he said, yes, I did.
Yeah. I said, so you're telling me, he said, the township came to help me out in town and get the truck out. And I said, so what you're telling me is you took work away from our bargaining unit. And he said, yes, I did, if that's what you want to call
He did. And that's the type of unit that I don't like. I'll put it right in my age, I come out.
it. You got any reason? I've known this shit because I go out with the VA and I have been with them and he tells me this shit because so, I mean, I have been with them before. I don't know anything I want to do. She was.
She was heard when you were up
Well, I had eat my old ladies talking on the song. Her, if I leave my little kitty, I got I tried to take care of you.
I seen you down there.
Yeah. I was like, his brother.
Yeah, because I keep thinking, what are they?
Well, then, here, I'm trying to, even if I was at the, I don't know, yeah, I'm not, yeah, I was at the, my own. Yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, that's why I have all the recommendation, it states right there. Any of us in the party does not require his consent. But I did anyway. Yeah, no. They let Austin truck out of the snow when it was cold. Like it was a dog that was going to do cold. Stay here, baby. I slipped, fell backwards on my back, hit my head on the handle, more than 3 feet. That's what I said. And it hadn't got later in the run, she still at least told her driver to have my eyes, but I didn't know that I was watching what. Got him down.
Everybody, I meant to send it a message to you. I didn't put one.
Oh, I need to do that. I get.
Oh, hey. Look at that, yeah.
Right. So, let's see here, we've got. There's gonna be no real action taken after executive session. We do wanna remind business owners in the center of town that it is their responsibility to clear off the sidewalks, salt them. It was an issue that we've had over the last snow. Other than that, does anybody have any other business that?
Yes, I received a, city council sent, Ray Chapman a donation for the, Blaze Garden Group. And he sent a letter saying, so I got it out the closet, I forgot to bring it in, but anyhow, he went back up for,
Thank you.
Then they sent the thank you card too. The daughter sent the thank you card too.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is best down. Well, we'll look here, I got the truck, I'll bring it in after the meeting.
Is there any other business that we need to bring up tonight? Okay. One more motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Council adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I wanted to card.